Welcome to the Basketball Fiends podcast, a proud member of the Arskina Podcast Network. My name is Jesus Acevedo Jr.
And I'm Alex Aguilera.
And now, before we kick off our topics for today, I want to talk about the Balloon World Cup. Yes, listeners, you heard me right, the Balloon World Cup. And if you don't know what that is, we're going to show you this short video and just check it out.
Francesco de la Cruz, lo ha salvado, punto, no.
Ahí está.
¿Qué es esto?
No me lo creo, no puede ser.
¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué locura es esta, Ander? ¡Ha llegado! ¡Ha llegado!
¡Nada más! ¡Que no se acabe, que no se acabe!
¡No! ¡Está aturdido!
En el último momento.
¡Está aturdido! ¡Está aturdido Francesco de...
¡Que no se acabe!
So essentially what that was for our podcast listeners that aren't watching us on YouTube, that was essentially the balloon game, Alex, where you make sure that the balloon doesn't hit the floor and one player hits it up, the next player has to keep it up and make sure that it doesn't hit the floor. Alex, they made an actual World Cup out of this game, which is just, to me, boggles the mind.
I mean, it kind of surprises me that it hasn't happened even sooner. Like, I just watched that and I'm like, man, like, where has this been? Like, that looks fun as hell.
It definitely looks fun. And, you know, shout out to those announcers. They made it seem like if the world was ending, the way they were just expressing themselves. I was like, they got me more into it than I was already into it. But, you know, a little background. This is the first Balloon World Cup. And Peru won the championship. They took the gold or the trophy. And now the first question I had when this video crossed my Twitter feed, Alex, was, how can I get involved? How can I represent the USA or Mexico, whichever wants me? How? Because I would destroy everyone in this game, Alex.
I think you and a lot of other people, maybe including myself, have that same thought. Like, man, I would kill in this. Like, I would ball out so hard in a Balloon World Cup.
And now look. I had to do my research. So the game was born out of a TikTok that went viral. And then Pique, the Spaniard international soccer star who plays for Barcelona, he put the tournament together. And to be honest, I hope they have it again next year and in the following years, because I believe that I'm going to find out how I can represent USA or Mexico, whoever wants me, to participate in the Balloon World Cup, Alex. That is my goal now.
Hey, who knows? It could be an Olympic sport. We don't know. Be able to represent somehow, some way, become a professional athlete. You know, all you gotta do is like tap a balloon.
That's
it. Hey, it took finesse, man. They had a whole smart car in there.
They had cars, they had couches. They did a nice setup to make it difficult, right? And there's also some technique. I saw one of the videos I saw. There was this guy. He was just lightly tapping it, and because all you gotta do is you gotta tap it up. You know, you can't tap it down or sideways. You have to tap it up. And this guy was just lightly tipping it with his finger, which I'm sure his girlfriend or wife likes it. But yeah, just lightly tapping,
Oh
you know.
my God, man.
that was a little extra out there. But yeah, no. So the Balloon World Cup, people, definitely look into that. That was my one cool thing that I learned this week. And I do believe, Alex, and who knows, maybe we can tag team it, you and I. We can represent team USA and for the Basketball Fiends, we can lift the trophy. But you know who else lifted a trophy more recently was the Chicago Sky of the WNBA, who won their first WNBA championship. Alex, being a Chicago guy, how was it being there? I mean, not there, but in the city and seeing the Chicago Sky raise their first WNBA trophy?
Oh man, dude, it was awesome. I mean, as you know, like Chicago's a big basketball city, big basketball town, so we were definitely rallying behind this Chicago Sky team, you know, through this whole playoff run. You know, a 6 seed. Actually, I want to say they're the first 6 seed to ever win a WNBA title. First in franchise history. Was our first professional title since the Cubs in 2016. And then, of course, our first basketball title since the Bulls. So, I mean, a lot to celebrate. And, of course, you know, the whole story behind Candace Parker coming back home, Chicagoland native. I mean, I know she's originally from Naperville, but, you know, right down the block. And it's, yeah, man, just and I had followed the Sky a little bit, you know, before this championship run. And I was like, man, like, I feel like they're right there. They just need one extra piece to add to that team. And then when Candace Parker came in, I was like, holy crap, that's a big piece to
That's a
add.
big piece to add.
Right. I was talking about like one little piece to maybe get him over the edge. And then Candace Parker just like blew that out of the water. I was like, oh my God, we got one of the greatest of all time coming back. So yeah, man, we're hyped over here.
Now let's make it clear. The Sky had to earn it because that game 4, Phoenix Mercury had the lead most of the game. The Chicago Sky came back against the Phoenix Mercury. Candace Parker, like you said, hometown kid. She signed with the Sky for this exact purpose. She wanted to bring a title to the Chicago Sky.
Yep.
But shout out to Allie Quigley, another Chi-Town kid. She dropped 26 points.
Yeah.
She led the Sky, and you know, it was good seeing how exciting Candace Parker was. You saw, I mean, she could barely hold back the emotions because it meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
You know, a lot to her because she could have gone anywhere. You know, she's Candace Parker. She could have gone anywhere. She said, "No, I want to go back to Chicago because I want to bring back a title." And look, that stadium was sold out. It was packed. It was loud. We have to be honest too. They definitely played a role in helping the Chicago Sky come back. Because, like I said, it looked like Phoenix was going to take it. Yes, it was a close game, but Phoenix had the lead most of the game.
Yeah, I want to say I think they had led by as many as 16. And I mean, Brittany Griner was killing us. Brittany Griner was going off. I think she dropped like 28, I think. Right? Yeah, she dropped 28. Diana Taurasi did her thing. She made a lot of clutch baskets, same with Skylar Diggins-Smith. But once again, I told you, bro, Phoenix got a 3-headed monster between those 3 ladies. But other than that,
nobody.
You know, not a lot of people really showed up for that game 4. And you look at the Sky, you know, Allie Quigley, like you mentioned before, led the way with 26 points. I mean, man, she could shoot the ball. Oh my God, dude. Like, her jump shot is just, dude, she can shoot.
She's a professional shooter.
Mm-hmm.
When she files her taxes, they say occupation professional shooter.
That was good. I like that. Her wife, Courtney Vandersloot, put up a solid 10 points.
I love that.
15 assists,
I love
that 15 assists.
Oh, 15 assists. No, but real quick, I love that they're they're a couple and they're on the same team. I just love that. That's so cool.
That's sick. I remember when I first found out, I was like, they're married. I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then of course, Kalia Copper, she won finals MVP. So I mean, just across the board, you look at the Sky team compared to Phoenix, just a lot more depth. I think you know, just more chemistry between that team. I mean, they look great in transition, you know, with the Sky. So I mean, that's just one highlight out of many. So yeah, man, it was just fun to watch, man. You look at that team and just, you know, just pure like team basketball per se. I think that's what was just most fun about this Sky team is just like, you know, everybody touched the ball. Everybody had like an impact on that roster. So yeah.
And now we have to say, Diana Taurasi, the wily veteran, she did her best, and let's just say she didn't take the loss all too well, Alex. You know, in the visitors' locker room, she took out her frustration on the door. And look, I've been there. I wouldn't say a sore loser on the basketball court, but I hate to lose on the basketball court, especially when I think, especially when my team had the lead and then just let it slip. I get mad. But shout out to that door because the Sky brought that door to the championship parade. So hey, look at this door. You know, you're just a door there, man, and then Diana starts kicking your ass. But look, you were able to make it to the championship parade. So shout out to that door. You made it. You have made it.
It was so petty. I loved it. That door was just standing there minding its own business. But hey, are you really gonna stop yourself against Diana Taurasi after she lost the championship? No.
You just stand there and take it. You stand there and take it. But look, you were paid because they took you to the championship parade. Which
you got to celebrate. So
and look, Chicago came out for that parade. They came out large.
Yeah, that rally was cool. I unfortunately couldn't go because I had to work because I got big boy responsibilities.
Damn it.
I thought about taking off because I haven't really taken off work that much, but I was just like, they're gonna know exactly why I'm taking off work.
Of course. Yes.
So I was just like, I think I can really. I was like, probably not a good look, so let me be responsible and just go to work. But I had a buddy of mine. He is a photographer for the Sun Times. He covered the rally, so that was pretty cool. I had another buddy of mine that went. So yeah, it looked fun, man. Like it was a really cool turnout.
And now, one last bit on this WNBA season and the WNBA finals. The ratings for the WNBA finals went through the roof this season. According to Richard Deitch, the 2021 WNBA finals on ESPN2 and ABC averaged 548,000 viewers, up 23% from 2020 and up 42% from 2019. Now, as a whole, the WNBA playoffs averaged 367,000 viewers, up 63% from 2020 and 42% from 2019. Look, WNBA is trending in the right direction.
Yeah,
Granted, it's not NBA numbers, obviously, but it's
right.
trending up, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, it's trending up in a big way, and I think I mean, I'm like it sucks that they didn't do it sooner, but just make it more widely available to watch, like putting it on ESPN, ESPN2, putting primetime games on ABC so that everyone could watch. Like the desire to watch the WNBA is there. Like people want to watch it. It's just give them the access to it. And guess what? The numbers are shooting up, and I can imagine they're going to shoot up even more. Um, as the seasons progress, as the years continue. So, I mean, it isn't a surprise to me. It's just more of, it's long overdue.
And now from the WNBA finals, we switch gears to talk about someone that played in last season's NBA finals, and that's DeAndre Ayton. Alex Ayton is a little bit unhappy at the moment. Unlike some of his fellow 2018 draftees, he did not receive an extension this offseason. Suns general manager James Jones said in an interview with The Athletic that the Suns didn't have real negotiations with Ayton's representatives regarding a 3-year or 4th-year extension. And look, some are coming after the Suns because Phoenix, they gave an extension to Landry Shamet, who at that point that they gave the extension had yet to play with the Phoenix Suns. They swung a trade, or they signed him from the Brooklyn Nets. So, my question to you is, do you think we could see Ayton get traded this NBA season, or do you think that the Suns are going to wait to the offseason when he's a restricted free agent and let the market set his value?
I feel like they might go that route as a free agent. I'm not quite sure. I mean, there's definitely some value to DeAndre Ayton. I'm just not quite sure, what Phoenix would be looking for in that case, or what they would get out of a DeAndre Ayton trade. Like I don't, I wouldn't know. But yeah, I'm kind of curious just the way they're going about this, where they don't offer him a contract extension. There isn't really hadn't been any talks, and obviously we saw how big of a role he played
Huge role.
in that
Huge role.
finals run. Yeah, and I think I had heard that he was looking for some Trae Young extension money. I think that was sort of the comparison, as sort
He's
of like what the
he's not
price
there
range
yet,
kind of
but,
was.
but yes.
Right, that's where I was kind of like, he's not quite there yet, but I think the man deserves a little payday.
Yep.
And I mean, just to compliment, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, who I believe signed an extension too. I think he got
Yes.
like 90 million or something like that. So I mean, he got a payday. So I mean, I don't think he's gonna quite be making Trae Young money, but I'd imagine Phoenix would prefer to keep him and let him go. So I mean, yeah, I think it might be smart to, like you said, go the free agent route where they sort of test that, that trade value, where it's like, okay, what is he worth? What would we maybe get for him? And then that's where they can kind of decide, all right, do we offer him some type of extension or do we move on? So it'll be interesting to see.
Now, look, Aiden is a pleasure. Aiden is a pleasure for the Suns, but Aiden is a player, like you said, he was crucial to the Suns' final run. Now, when the Suns they signed Paul. Aiden's numbers took a dip because they were trending upwards. But when they signed Chris Paul last season, they took a bit of dip, but it was for the betterment of the team. And I'm talking about a dip from like 19 points per game to 15 points per game, which is, just a small dip, 4 points less, right? So this Suns team, they need a DeAndre Ayton type player. If it's not going to be DeAndre Ayton, I don't know who they can replace him with. And my one concern is that if it gets to that situation when he becomes a restricted free agent. I think some teams gonna give him a large contract that the Suns won't be able to match.
Yeah. Yep.
And because look, I think a team is going to want a young center like him that plays defense. It's a good rebounder, has finals experience, the playoff experience, has a nice touch. He can shoot free throws. I mean, he's exactly what you want in a young center.
Yeah.
So that's my concern, is that if they wait, somebody is going to offer him, maybe not Trey Young, or who knows. We've seen teams overpay. They might, but I definitely know that the Suns, in their history, they haven't paid big for their own players. I go back to Joe Johnson when they lost him to the Atlanta Hawks, and that was a big crucial piece to them when they had Steve Nash when he won those back-to-back MVP. So, based on the history, it doesn't bode well for DeAndre Ayton. I will say that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's an odd situation. I didn't really expect it per se. It was just more of okay. Eventually, he's gonna get some type of extension and stay with Phoenix. Like it only makes sense, after that performance he made in their finals run. But yeah, Phoenix has sort of put themselves in a little pickle where it's like, okay, if you let him walk, I mean, a team is probably gonna gladly pick him up and maybe even overpay for him, but they don't care. They'll rather take him. And then, like, to the point you mentioned too, it's like if you lose DeAndre Ayton, like, who are you gonna get to replace him? Because once again, like the center position isn't as deep as it was before in the league in years past. So not like you can snag another Joel Embiid who's young, who can, shoot, play defense. Not that I'm saying DeAndre Ayton is on Joel Embiid's level, but yeah, I mean, it would be a very hard replacement if they decided to just let him walk.
And then here's the thing: you also got to take a look at the landscape of the Western Conference. There's some big power forwards and big centers that the Phoenix Suns will have to contend with. Denver Nuggets have Jokic. The Lakers have AD. You can even look at the Christian Woods. Or there's some other players. I'm blanking out on the
What, like Rudy Gobert?
Rudy Gobert. So
Yep.
so you need a player of Aiden's defensive capabilities, and yes, you could. There's centers in the league, right? But there's only a couple tiers of good centers that can really help you win games, and Aiden is in that tier, and they won't be able to replace him. I mean, they would have to probably overpay, which in that case they might as well just re-sign Aiden. So you know what? I'm gonna go on a limb and say maybe they may test the waters on a trade. Maybe. To bolster their team, maybe say the season doesn't go as it's going. Maybe Aiden doesn't. Well, I feel Aiden will play because I guess it's a contract year, and we've seen in past history when it's a contract year, players always play up. But yeah, and who knows? We'll see. Aiden, in 15 years, 25 years, we could be talking about DeAndre Ayton in the list for the NBA 100 greatest players. But we do have the list of the NBA's 75 greatest players, which they released this week, Alex, and social media was buzzing with disagreements, as it tends to happen when these kind of lists are put together. Now, personally, for the most part, I think the NBA got it right for the most part. But, and it's a big but, there were some omissions that I had to do a double take. Here are some of my omissions that I think I were kind of like, had to do a double take. Dwight Howard, Klay Thompson, Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, Tony Parker, Tracy McGrady, Manu Ginobili. Now, here are some players who made it over them who perhaps shouldn't have, right? And not only pick two, but these are two that really stood out to me: Anthony Davis and Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
I feel those two players maybe should not have made it. I'm not saying they're not good. They're great players. And if this is the NBA 85 list, they probably make it, or the NBA 80, they probably make it. But I
right. It's like they're right there.
They're right there. You're right there. But that's my one peculiar thing. Right off the bat, I'll tell you, I think Dwight Howard should have made it and Anthony Davis shouldn't. Right off the bat. And
Yeah,
my main
yeah.
reason for this is when Dwight Howard was the number one option, he took the Orlando Magic to the 2013 NBA Finals.
2009.
2009, my mistake. 2009 NBA Finals. There was no other All Star on the team. Real good Jameer Nelson, but but not an All Star. So he carried that team to the NBA Finals. When AD was the number one with the New Orleans Pelicans, they didn't even sniff the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I feel like they only put AD because he's recency bias, right? He won a title with the Lakers and he was instrumental. But guess what? He had LeBron James, so that kind of
Right.
helps. That kind of
Yeah.
helps. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm actually kind of right with you there. I feel like people forget like kind of how dominant Dwight Howard was like in his prime, like from I want to see was it that like '07 to was it 2010 2011 period that period where he was with the Orlando Magic, aside from those early years, like he was really good. Like he
Mhm.
was a three-time defensive player. Like when you talked about who's the best center in the league, everyone pretty much just said Dwight Howard. Like the dude was top dog for a little while, and the thing was
Both
he's got like
sides, offense
yeah,
and defense.
yeah. I mean, he was the Magic's number one options on both sides. I mean, the dude was a damn brick wall around the rim, and literally on the offense end, you just dumped it to him or threw a lob, and more often than not, he was probably gonna be there. So yeah, I mean, definitely like Anthony Davis, and you mentioned Damian Lillard too, which is kind of funny. Like I told him, my hot take was that he was gonna be MVP, and like there's a little confliction there, but like I'm honestly right with these there too. Those were kind of the two where it's like, man, like they're there. Like if it was a top 80, they would probably like get in, but it's like
Squeeze in, yeah.
right, but it's like they're just like not quite there yet compared to like a Dwight Howard or like a Tracy McGrady, a Vince Carter. I think Dikembe Mutombo didn't make the list
That's
too. That
another
was
one.
that was
Yeah.
another name. That once again, like you honestly could put Dikembe Mutombo over Anthony Davis as well. So
And it's like it's like we're saying, we're not saying they're bad players, they're right there, but it's
no,
also when I look at Damian Lillard, right, if I'm just basing it on facts, on stats, I guess if you want to say, he hasn't won a lot even. He's never won an
yeah,
MVP, never won a scoring title. I think they made a Western Conference Finals run one time, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to the Warriors, or maybe I'm mistaken, but he hasn't done enough in
yeah,
my eyes. You
right.
know, another one that I know people were upset about was Kyrie Irving. He wasn't on the list. You had Andre Iguodala say that Kyrie Irving is a top 20 player, which I thought was like, woo, they got some good weed up in California because that's what Andre's smoking. Because man, I don't know about the top 20.
Yeah, I don't know about top, and I like Kyrie too, man. Like
I like him
I
too.
love
Yeah,
his game, but man, I'm not ready to say top 20. And
I
honestly,
could
like
definitely hear you for the top 75. There's an argument to be made there,
right, that's
but top
fair.
20. Ooh.
Nah, that's a bit of a stretch. Like top 75, I mean, like you can make the case that he should have made the list, but also at the same time, like I'm not heartbroken
Right.
or
Same.
like pissed that he didn't make the list either. But
I
yeah, top 20.
I think for me, the biggest gripe for me was Dwight Howard. Out of all the main omissions
yeah.
that I mentioned, just because of how dominant he was,
Mhm. And
uh,
he's
you
got a
know,
resume, like
he's got a resume
he's got a
on
resume.
top of that. Like I think he was for 8 years in a row. He was on the 8-time All Star. I mean,
Mhm.
Defensive Player of the Year. So I think just the resume when you compare it to AD's, the only thing AD really has on him is the title. Which look, Dwight Howard has the title. He was on
Right?
the same team with AD that
Right.
won
What?
that title. It's just that AD was more crucial to that title run.
Right.
But that's my only gripe with the list. Were there any gripes that you had with the NBA 75 or anything that stood out to you?
No, honestly, I was pretty much right there with you. I guess maybe a little, not that it's a gripe, maybe a little bit of a hot take, excuse me. Was it Russell Westbrook?
That was another one I
Where
actually.
like I'm kind of like, okay, I don't mind that he made the list, but at the same time, like if he wasn't on the list, I wouldn't mind either. Just kind of like, and it's weird because of course he had the triple double MVP season. Like literally ever since then, he's damn near averaged a triple double. Since then and before that, we were just all like, "Oh my god!" Like averaging a triple double in the season is unheard of, and he's done it like 3 or 4 times now. And we kind of just like got used to it,
Okay,
I
now,
guess.
yeah, it's
I
like,
don't
man.
know. So yeah, I guess that one, like, I don't know. Like, I'm fine with him making the list. I think he's deserving, but like, if he wasn't on the list, I wouldn't hate it either. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the one where I almost put him on the list with the AD and Damian Lillard, but I thought about it and I was like, well,
I mean,
he averaged a triple double and he's like Mr. Triple Double now, which
yeah,
I don't know if he has a nickname, but I think that should be his nickname, Mr. Triple Double. But that's another one. Like I'm right there with you too. Is that if he wasn't on the list, I would have been like, okay, top 85. Okay, yeah, I could see him
like I can
easily.
see it,
Yeah,
but like
right,
top
right.
25, like, hey, I'm not mad at that either. Like
Yeah,
he could squeeze in.
which just goes to show you, Oklahoma, OKC Thunder had 3 players in the NBA 75 at one point. That is just, and they were not able to get a title out of it, which just still boggles my mind.
They were
That that's
right there,
another
man.
that's another what if we could have done, but yeah.
Jeez, man, it was like they would made that finals run and they let Harden walk, and it was like,
Here's
dude,
here's a little interesting nugget. Somebody who was not in the NBA 75 was one of the main reasons that OKC Thunder let the Warriors come back on a 3-1, and that was Klay Thompson when he went off on that game 6. So, little funny tidbit. But now from the NBA 75, Alex and I made our own NBA top 10 NBA players in history. Now, we didn't do sequential order, or, I think that'll be even tough because even Alex would probably agree just picking the top 10 NBA players was tough enough.
yeah, I'm honestly like still not even like
Sure.
totally set on this top 10. I'm just kind of like, some I'm like, okay, definitely, but the rest are just kind of like, damn, like I mean, they're good, but it's like, I don't, yeah, it's tough.
I definitely had to make the list 3-4 times. Like I said, there were a couple players that were like in pen, in Sharpie. I'm like, these are for sure. And then some are in pencil where I'm like, I had to scratch out their name a couple times here and there. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you tell us your top 10 NBA players in history. Not in any
Ooh,
order, just these are just the top 10 in your mind.
okay. I got Shaq.
Okay.
I got Kareem.
Okay.
Got Wilt,
Okay.
Magic,
Okay.
MJ,
Of course.
Kobe, LeBron. I got Bill Russell. I do got Hakeem.
Ooh, I was about.
I
We were
do
gonna end this podcast right now.
but I do got Hakeem. He got in there, but then last, like I kind of threw an Allen Iverson in there.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So like my list is subject to change. Like this is
Right.
like
Right.
I'm not
This is
set.
today's.
I'm not set on this is my like for now, like my top 10 for today. I was just like, I throw a list together and that's what I came up with. But let's hear
It's
yours, man. I'm
it's
curious.
it's not a bad. We're gonna discuss just a little bit.
Okay, all right.
It's not a bad list. The AI threw me for a curve. I did not expect the AI
Yeah.
one. I mean, he definitely has an argument to be made. I think he probably won't make most people's top 10 list,
I
but
I I think why I threw AI because I was thinking like who would be our starting five, and I was just kind of like well I don't know why like we were gonna do a starting five, but I'm thinking like the whole team. I was like, oh, I need a bench. I was like, I need another point guard.
we are going to pick our starting five from these top 10. But first, we're going to discuss the top 10. So, Shaq, Kareem, Will, Hakeem, 4 centers, Bill, 5 centers. It's tough. I think you had the same situation I had where like there's so many great centers in the
Yeah,
league, and it's funny as I was making my list too. I noticed I'm like I have so many centers, but not really any
right.
main point guards.
Yep.
It's just we've had either great wings and great centers,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, Shaq, Kareem, Wilt, Magic, MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Bill Russell, Hakeem AI. It's not a bad top 10. Here's my top 10, not in any order. Here's my top 10. Hakeem,
Yeah.
obviously. Hakeem.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan,
Okay.
LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kareem,
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird,
Oh, okay.
Will Chamberlain, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, and Magic Johnson.
I like that. I might switch out AI, but yeah, I like that.
Now there were a couple, like I said, I had to. Some I put in at the last second because I thought about it, and some I had to.
I'm curious, who did you take out? Who did you originally have?
I took out Shaq. I swapped Shaq
Okay.
out for Duncan. I put Duncan in just
Oh.
because I think Duncan did a little bit more. He did it. It sounds bad, right? But he did it with less, because I mean, Shaq had Kobe, and then he had D Wade, So,
Okay.
both players that were in the NBA 75, and Duncan, he had Ginobili and Chris and Tony Parker. He
yeah.
did have David Robinson, who was in the NBA 75, but I think overall body of work, Tim Duncan, he was better longer into his career as well than Shaq. But look, Shaq is in my top 20. If we make a top 20, Shaq is in there. But yeah, and then of course I had to put my boy Bird and Magic Johnson in there. So yeah, that's
Okay.
my top 10. But I think, like you said, this could change next week.
Yeah.
It's just it's tough to really say this is the definite top 10 list. So
Yeah, like I'm still like with the AI pick. I was like, man, I don't know. I was just like, I need a point guard. I was like, I got Magic. I probably could have thrown Isaiah. So I don't know. Well, go ahead.
Now, tell us your starting five from your top 10 that you pick. Who'll be your starting five?
Okay, I think I got Magic at point.
Okay.
MJ at the 2.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got Shaq at center.
Okay.
I guess I could throw Hakeem at the 4.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
You could do, yeah. I was thinking between either him or maybe. Well, I don't know. Wilt was definitely more of a center. I was thinking either between like Hakeem or Bill at the 4, and then shit. This is tough. I guess I guess LeBron at small. But man,
Okay.
that's tough. And then like I'm tempted to throw Kobe in too, but like I mean he's such a player where it's like he definitely demands the ball, and it's like I do need a point guard, I do need a facilitator.
Well, he could be. How about we do a starting 5 and the 6 man?
All right, then Kobe's the 6. I like that. Kobe's the 6. Jesus, man, Kobe's the 6. Oh my god, that doesn't even sound right.
Okay,
2 years, I'm already.
So center Hakeem.
Okay.
Power forward LeBron.
Okay.
Small forward Larry Bird. Shooting guard Michael Jordan. Point guard Magic. 6-man Kobe.
Okay.
I think my starting lineup will kick your starting lineup's ass.
Your power forward is LeBron. Man, so you got, what is it? I had Hakeem at the 4, so you told me LeBron's gonna dice up Hakeem?
No, okay. That's the one matchup you're gonna lose.
Like, okay.
But I mean LeBron, I almost put Duncan, but I figured LeBron, I mean, look at him. He's a freaking linebacker out there. So he definitely has
opposition. So
he can play oppositions, But those were our starting 5 and top 10, which we're still not happy about apparently, because it's top 10 is always difficult, to pick your top 10 all time, and that's why I didn't even have us put them in order, because that would have even taken longer.
Jeez, I'm just this top 10 is subject to change from here on and so forth, probably throughout the end of time. I don't think it'll ever be set.
No, I don't think it'll ever be said. Yeah. But that was another episode for you faithful listeners. Alex, the NBA basketball season is full underway. Next week, we'll see what's popping, what hot topics are going on. But what do you expect from this NBA season?
Man, what do I expect? Fireworks. I mean, hey, the NBA is back. Like, there's always something juicy. There's always some drama. I mean, we didn't even talk about Ben Simmons, but all that stuff going on. That's just kind of funny. Like, I don't know how else. Like, you would have expected that situation to turn out when he went back to Philly. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be whoo. Sure enough.
Yeah, it's definitely that may be a topic we hit up next week, because who knows, we'll have some new developments perhaps that is definitely a topic. But we chose not to talk about because everybody was talking about Ben Simmons, and I want to talk about DeAndre Ayton because we talked a lot about him during the NBA Finals. So I think he deserved the topic. Yeah, but thank you, faithful listeners, for joining us weekly on the Basketball Fiends. Don't forget to subscribe. See ya.
Deuces.